Morning guys, hope everybody's alright. Today we're going to set about putting some USB sockets in the garage. We've got USBs all inside Gino, but we've got a 240 socket in the garage, but we haven't got any USB stroke cigarette lighter sockets, so I think that's what we're going to do today. So I've been out and I've bought a little kit, and we're going to fit this. These when you've got your little sockets inside your van with USBs, that's what they're like at the back. So we've got a couple of USB sockets, a cigarette lighter stroke cigar lighter, that's another USB. It comes with the cigar socket, and also a voltmeter if you wanted it, but we're not going to put that in. It's got a little bracket, so yeah, that's what we're going to do today. As quite a lot of you know, we've actually got lights underneath Gino, which we've wired inside. Now I'm going to put a USB port in the garage just in case, and then we can use air. If you're out on and you've got a flat tyre inflator, trying to run it from the front of the cab all the way, because Gino's nearly 8 metres long, he's some pretty massive motorhome, so running a cable from like the front cab all the way to the back, nah. I know you can get extensions, but I'd rather get things right and do them proper if we can. So I'm just going to take a few things out so I can move around. What we're actually going to do, we're going to take it off, take the power off a light that's actually in there. That there in the corner is a light, switch is there, and the power comes down here. So we're actually going to take it off there. Yeah, that's what we're going to try and do. We've got the light there, we've got like trunking down here. Sorry if it's a bit wobbly. Then we've got the heating pipes going up here, so we don't really want to be near them with electric cables. So this is the back garage wall, so we're going to try and pop it down there, link into that light. So let's see what we do. So we've took the light off. It's 2 strips of LEDs, and we've got a couple of wires. That's the actual feed for the lights, and I'm presuming it goes from this side, which is the passenger's, well, sorry, driver's side, over to the passenger side. So we'll see what we can do. Just need to test it now. So let's get some power on and do a bit of a test. I know I'm not quite in focus, but I'd rather you see what we're trying to do than anything else. So let's find the power. Simple tester. Now I'm not 100% certain whether this bracket here is actually earthed or not earthed. Only one way of telling. Let's see if the light comes on. Yeah, so we've definitely got a live going to it. So yeah, I'm presuming that is not left to the body. Mind you, it's a motorhome, most of it's fiberglass and bloody tap, so yeah. Let's try somewhere else to get an earth. Right, we don't actually need the voltage meter. What we do actually need is USB sockets. So that can go in there. Probably that side, to be fair. And a good old cigarette socket. Now, before I go through all the messing around of actually putting this cigarette socket in there, what I am going to do is make sure the things that we've got with cigarette sockets will actually fit in there, and it does. That's just a common everyday cigarette socket, and it fits in there. So happy days. Now on the back of these it tells you probably won't be able to see them, but it does tell you live on earth. So let's get some wiring done. It does actually come, as you can see, with clips, but don't matter anyway, because we've got tubs of clips. Now I know this is going to be a bit of a weird video, but just to prove you can actually do things if you wanted to do them for yourself. The actual socket's in there now. You just get a little ring and just fasten that up. That's nice and tight now, it's straight and level. Nice and tight. We need the cigarette socket one. Pop that in. Get another ring. Fasten that up. Be a bit careful because they're only plastic and they do cross thread quite easily. So make sure that's straight, which it is now. Nip it up. So it's all done. So now we've got the back bit. Just time to wire that up now. So we need 4 connections. Need some cable, which we've got ample of. Some side cutters. So what I'm actually going to do here is that will probably be ample. Yeah, from there down to there, and a little extra just in case, you never know, do you? Side cutters, chop that, get rid of all that. So we've got the end of the cable. Somewhere in the garage we've got the proper tool to do this, but hey. So a bit of a Stanley knife, slightly break the casing of that. I know there'll be people out there going, hey, you shouldn't use Stanley knives like that. But hey, if you just can't be bothered going back to the garage, then you just can't be bothered. So, obviously watch your fingers. That's cut. So then you've got the red and the black exposed. Like so. So I'm just going to trim the end of the outer cable off there and just give it a bit of a twist like so, so it's like a bit thicker. Double it over, put the actual connection on, get your crimpers even, and just crimp that down. That's locked on there now. Do the same with the red one. Give it a bit of a twist, make it a bit thicker. Double it over so the wire's a bit thicker now. Pop the connection on the end of it. Your crimping tool. Give it a good old squeeze. And that one is locked on as well. So what I'm actually going to do is put a live and an earth on there, and I'm just going to break this cable about there and do exactly the same there. So I'm going to get my trusty Stanley knife, just mark that ever so slightly so I can get into it. What I don't want to do is actually cut through the actual cables. So once you've got a mark in there, you can start just having a bit of a pick and pull it, which I just have done. So now it's left the cables exposed. So I can actually put my fingers, or fingernails I should say, around the cables and then just get the side cutters and snip the actual outer casing. And that just makes it life a bit easier. And if you just pull the outer casing, it'll just release or peel back as such from the two main cables. Cut that, so then you're left with that. So we've got two connections there, two cables there, and what I'm going to do now is just split into that. I'll show you in 2 seconds. Just get my trusted blade again. And all I'm trying to do is just cut some of the outer sheath off, just so I can actually see the burr cables. Once you can see that, you can actually just get your fingernails, just pick away and just expose them cables. Well, you just want to be a bit careful, because if you do it too much, then you are going to cut into the actual wire itself, and then all that end is wasted. wasted then. You've got to start again. So got my trusted side cutters now. Just nip that outer cable or the plastic coating, just so I can get to it again. Pick away at it. All that you're trying to do is just get enough of the actual metal cable. I'll show you in two seconds of the metal cable, like so. Can you see that? Does that make sense to you? Yeah, so you've got that cable there that's still fully coated, and the top cable that you've got the wire bare. So you just need to do the same on the opposite cable. It'll take you a couple of minutes, but it saves you routing wires everywhere, and wire for this, wire for that, when you can just join the pair together. And you'll see in a second what I'm actually doing and what I mean. It'll all make sense. Well, hopefully anyway. So just picking away at that outer plastic coating. Just get into that bare wire. Now I'm sorry if this is going on, but some of you, if you've never done it, then you'll need to know the bones of it. So you've got the two bare wires there. So hopefully now that's going to be enough. It might not be enough. I'll just take a tiny bit more off. Better to be safe than sorry. So that's that. That's that. Take a bit more of the live off. Dee-dee-dee-dee. Yep. There we have it. So now what I'm going to do, we've got the red and black there. So to the red, just going to take a bit more of this outer cover off. It's pushing against that. So the red now, that's the live. You've got plastic coating, no coating, live wire and plastic coating. So I'm just going to fold that up like so. Get another connection on it. Crimp it in place. Test it. Yeah, that's spot on. That's going nowhere. Do the same with the earth. So that's pushed down. You can feel it's pushed down. Clamped up. So now we've got connections for one side, connections for the other side, and only using one cable to save you running two cables down. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we've got the red, which is obviously earth, or live I should say. So on the back of here you won't be able to see it, you might be able to, but we've got a live. So the red's going to the live, like so. The black is going to the earth, because that's how we roll. So the black's eventually going on the earth. There she goes. Connections and wires are all still nice and sturdy. So from there you've got the other part which we've just done. So we've got the black there, which is connected to this black, which is going on the minus side of there, and then the red, which is connected to this red, is going on to there. So nothing mega wattage is ever going to go in here, so placing them like that makes no real difference really. We're not working like toasters off it or anything. It's just going to be small ampage stuff. So there you go, the simplest way of doing it. So what I'm going to do now is the opposite end is just put into that outer sheath, try and break that up, peel it a bit. Let's get to the two wires. We've got the live, let's just get the earth, then we can trim that, pull it back, and there we have it. Opposite end we've got the two wires. Now I know that this light is already fused. I know that. Like most things, well, it's kind of factory fit that from Bailey, so it will have a fuse on it. But I'm going to pop another fuse in for this little bad boy, just so I know I've done whatever I need to do, in case the wire rubs against something, just so I know. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'd prefer to be safe than sorry. So just take the end off that. That's your earth. Take the end off that. That's your live. So if I pop that in there now, and pop that in there now, it's not finished yet, but as you can see, it's lit up now. Can you see that? We've actually got power going to that. If I take the cable out, it'll go off. There you go. So what I'm going to do now, this is my live. I'm just going to chop into that. There you go. Got. And I'm just going to take a bit of the edge of this off. Put another connection on there, like so. Crimp it up. Oh, yeah, bit too hard there, Rob. I've actually cut through it, so I'll just take a bit more of the black off, so I can actually get to it. If you do, obviously, that's why, if you remember in the beginning, I said, oh yeah, I'll just give us a bit more space, just a bit more cable, just in case. So just get to the bare wire again, double it over, put another connection on it, clamp it up, give it a bit of a, that's nice and solid. So this is the bit of cable that we just cut off. So we've still got that bare end. So what I'm actually going to do with that is double that over, push that down, give it a bit of a crimp, nice and solid. Get to the other end, we just need to get that into a bare wire. Now we've got the live and the live, 2 spare connections. So spare connections, you can just pop a fuse in there, and the opposite side, put a fuse on that side. Now this is not a very good fuse, to be fair. It's one of them bloody 15 million for a pound from pound shop, so I'm going to change that. But do you get the idea? You've got your live with a crimped end, a fuse, and your live that's going to be connected. So it's not hard. You don't need to buy fuse holders and all that malarkey at like bloody £4, £5, £10. 2 spare connections and a fuse in centre. And once I've done that, well, I'm going to change this fuse now to a proper one, because you can see it's wonky minters. So I'm going to take that out, get a proper fuse from the garage, pop that in, and then I'll show you what else I'm doing. So we've changed the fuse. We've put a 15 amp fuse in there. Should never ever need that much, but hey ho, you use what you can find sometimes. Like I said, it's this side of it's the actual original lighting's already fused. This is only me just being double cautious. So get some black insulation tape. That's what we've made. Now I'm just going to go round there. I know it's there. I can still see the fuse. If it actually does ever blow, I can still see where it's actually blown, because I'm going to leave the fuse available, so to speak. I'm just going to wrap that up, get that cable out of there, just to make it more sturdy if anybody's ever messing behind light. So that's what we've got. Fuse, all taped up, live and earth. So now we can just cut into these up here and tag them into this light. So we've done some test with a tester. This one, obviously it's red. We know it's live, we've tested it's live. So we're just going to literally cut in, not cut, just cut away the actual plastic coating of this, just so we can see the actual cable. If you're really all heavy-handed and you cut right through it, no massive panic, you can join them back up. Just be a bit careful, just take your time. End of the day, you're working with a Stanley blade, you don't want to be hacking away, it's not a bloody axe. So you can see it's starting to show the cable there. Obviously only do one wire at once, don't be like hacking away at everything. Try and make it as neat as possible. End of the day, it's your motorhome, it's your pride and joy. So we've got the cable now. I'll try and bring you up, it might go a bit wobbly. So we've actually got the cable there now. So what I'm going to do is just get the Stanley blade and just actually work between the cables and just make a little hole. I'll show you what I mean. There you go. You can actually see the wires. They're not cut, but I've just forced them apart, so they've got a hole in the centre now. And the reason why I've done that, so that's going to be up there. I'll be bringing the cables down there. So I've got my live cable. So I'm just going to pop that like you're threading a cable, sorry, a needle. I'm going to pop that through the centre of that. If it will go. If not, I'll just make it a bit larger to receive. There we go. It's gone through there. Once the cable's gone through, squeeze it up and then wrap the actual cable, the one that you're fitting, around your original cable. And I'll show you what you've got now. Sorry about the dodgy cam work, but in order for you to see this, it's got to keep moving. So that's the cable that we're fitting. That's the original cable. So we've made the hole, posted it through, wrapped it around, and that's what you've got. Now, if you want to be super proper, you could solder that. But tugging away at that ain't going to move. I've used this system 1,001 times, believe me, they don't move unless you proper rag on that cable. So I'm just making it all nice, safe and sound, putting insulation tape around it. So that live cable now is sealed to that. So over to the earth. So do the same. You're just cutting away at the outer protective plastic. Don't be cutting too far into it because you're going to cut the cables like we said before. And that's what you don't want to do. But yeah, again, it's not the end of the world if you do. You can just join them up with some connections. Sorry if this is boring some of you, but some of you don't know. So I've done these loads and loads of bloody times on motorhomes and different cars. So even if it just helps one person out, that's all that matters, isn't it? If you don't really know much about electrics, you think, I could do with some sockets in my garage. If it helps you out, brilliant. Next job done. Because I've got to do the job, I might as well film it for somebody. Then I'm just going to make this cable. This is the earth cable that we're adding. Just going to take a bit more off the plastic coating, if I can. There we go. So wrap that up. Just to try and make it into like one piece instead of all bits of wire stringing here, there and everywhere. So same as, you get your earth cable, post it through the hole like a needle and thread. Make sure you've got the cable not on the plastic, and then wrap it around so it's nice and tight. I'll bring you up here so you can see that again. Get some insulation tape. And then just tape it all up. So it's not going to touch anything else, it's not going to touch a live wire. The live wire is not going to touch the body so it sparks out. So that's it, all connections, lights back there, lights on, lights off. we've got, as you can see, it's on. What I'll try and do for you, might be a bit noisy, but I will try. We've got our air compressor that we use in Gino. We'll put the socket in there. Socket's in. So it's pumping away. So now we can actually pump the back tyres up of the motorhome and not have to struggle leading it from the front of the cab all the way down to the back, because it's simply not long enough. So we've got the cables there. What I'm going to do is just put a bit of insulation tape on, not to really insulate them, just to make them nice and neat, to be fair, and keep them all together. Same with that one. Just a bit of tape, just to keep the wires together. Obviously we have got other things, like I said before, we've got a voltmeter there if we wanted to, but do we really need to know the volts in the back of the garage? Not really, we're not running fridges off it and stuff like that. So the light's going to go back up there any second, so that I'm going to just pop up there. I know it's up there. Can you see up there? That's just going to be popped up there, and that's done and dusted then. So that's it. It's wired in there. It's all live. Lights back in. Job's done. So that's how you put USB sockets either in your garage or anywhere else in your motorhome. So I know it's a bit of a long-winded video, but if somebody needs a bit of a lift on how to do it, it's there for them to watch. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I won't bore you to death for like 40 minutes. If you're not interested, don't watch it, simple as that. But if you do like it, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks guys.